Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome to another weekly dosage of the Wake and Bake Vibes. I'm your host, Killer Strada, aka Kamikaze, and we're about to start the show as usual with some music. Before we get into the main course, let's play some music once again. All the music that is being played is being played directly from the Sonomuse platform, and all the artists who are being played will be getting paid out in real time. So let's get it.
We getting it in at the XRPL Wake and Bake Vibes with Two Code, X Lemmy, and Kamikaze. You know the vibes.
Yo, it's Nicosia Rocco. Moms would be so proud of me. Pregnant piggy bank is giving birth to all this currency. Pockets got them up, they smoke, stacking on my earnings. Count so many zeros, we them figures that you yearning for. From my line out, they breaking fish back every time. Making zeros at a 5, I'm trying to get them to a 9. Getting low, doing shows, man, they brothers still in this line. And I really don't care if they don't get yours, cause I keep getting mine. Red on deck is like a loaf, come and have a slice with me. We ain't got no beef, so I'ma hit you with a slice of cheese. Brother Day got the smoke, by my side I gotta be. So many zeros in his bank account, it's like the lottery. No way that you can stop it. We rolling with some players that truly be about they do. The ladies that we get with, they truly be about they choose. On the door, they let you know that y'all been calling them. Me and my players be on our game every day. Being broken leg, going crazy. 7 to 2 this type of lifestyle. Zeros, man, that's what you want. Keep them in your bank account. Zeros to the millions, I'm not talking about a blank amount. 1,000 ways to make a buck. I suggest you choose, buddy. That'll keep you flossing like a boss, so go make food on play. Ace of spades, we poppin' close with every damn design. Big body top to drop it, letting in that sunshine. Getting paid, make you flexion, cause I'm always on the grind. I really don't care if you don't get yours, cause I keep getting mine. Got the back to what you want, no we can supply your need. All I gotta do is make a call, my dog and drop it off with speed. You hustle, that's what we do, that's what this all be about. Even if the popo hit one spot, you never take a sign. No way that you can stop it. Everybody eating, cause we all about that coke. Cribs in every city, so it's always like we home. Fill it to the flow, you gotta know we got it. Me and my players be on our game every day. Being broken leg, no pay. 7 with the compass and this type of lifestyle.
You are now listening to the Wake and Bake Vibes every Thursday with Killer Strider, Too Cold, and X Lemmy. Come join us and catch some vibes. Spark one.
Sit on the beat, yo.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Slimmy. And you're listening to the Wake and Bake Vibes with Kamikaze and Too Cold. Whoa, whoa.
Boss man. King.
Some of that bass out.
We up. We up. Yeah, we up. We up. I've been working for a long time. Bruce said it's crunch time. Swear it's been a long line. Now we got the spotlight. Yeah, we up. Yeah, we up. We up. Yeah, we up. We up. Yeah, we up. I've been working for a long time. Bruce said it's crunch time. Swear it's been a long line. Now we got the spotlight. Tell him we up. Yeah, we up. Now I'm going to the moon. This message is on a different fresh, no tune. Top flight chandelier. Tom Brady with it, making plays in the year. We up. Now it's time to re-up. I'ma keep my feet up. Said I had to keep up. We up. Yeah, I'm about to stay up. And we gotta wait up. And we on the way up. We up. We up. Yeah, we up. We up. I've been working for a long time. Bruce said it's crunch time. Swear it's been a long line. Now we got the spotlight. Yeah, we up. Yeah, we up. We up. Yeah, we up. We up. Yeah, we up. I've been working for a long time. Bruce said it's crunch time. Swear it's been a long line. Now we got the spotlight. Tell 'em we up. Yeah, we up. I've been working for a long time. Every day is crunch time. Party for a long time. Haters at its most high. Great time to feel good. Watch why I do it to a hill with that good girl. Now she all emotional. Tell 'em we up. I got my niggas with me till I run up. And if you from the north side, stand up. All the independent artists, what up? Yeah, what up? We up. We up. Yeah, we up. We up. I've been working for a long time. Bruce said it's crunch time. Swear it's been a long line. Now we got the spotlight. Yeah, we up. Yeah, we up. We up. Yeah, we up. We up. Yeah, we up. I've been working for a long time. Bruce said it's crunch time. Swear it's been a long line. Now we got the spotlight. Tell 'em we up. Yeah, we up.
Hey, what's going on? This is your boy Killer Strider, aka Kamikaze Monster, and you're now listening to the Wake and Bake Vibes with my boy X Lemmy and my girl Too Cold. Let's get it.
No sirree, Bobby, Hemi. No Egypt, more like Kemet. I said we the real Jews. They said I was anti-Semitic. No sirree, Ricky Bobby. I ain't racing no zombies. Need the pocket watching. XR paid is my hobby. No sirree, Bob Marley. Young Dreadlock Rastafari. Out the trenches for real. Triangular trapping tsunami. No siree, Bob Dylan. This industry want my spirit. Think it's cap if you want. Go watch him on 60 Minutes. No siree, Bob Saget. Pedophilia tragic. I don't care if they was real sisters. That full house you could have it. No siree, Bob Barker. Prison industrial starter. His price was always right. Don't drop his souls, bro, regardless. No siree, Bobby Schmurder. Blood tie dye and no burger. Kill all these old habits. It's time to rise with a purpose. No siree, Bobby Orr. Power play up the score. Atlanta thrashing the beat so hard. Them Rangers on your board. No siree, Bobby, Hemi. No Egypt, more like Kemet. I said we the real Jews. They said I was anti-Semitic. No siree, Ricky Bobby. I ain't racing no zombies. Need the pocket watching. XR paid is my hobby. No siree, Bob Marley. Young Dreadlock Rastafari. Out the trenches for real. Triangular trapping tsunami. No siree, Bob Dylan. This industry want my spirit. Think it's cap if you want. Go watch him on 60 Minutes. No siree, Bob Saget. Pedophilia tragic. I don't care if they was real sisters. That full house you could have it. No siree, Bob Barker. Prison industrial starter. His price was always right. Don't drop his souls, bro, regardless. No siree, Bobby Schmurder. Blood tie dye and no burger. Kill all these old habits. It's time to rise with a purpose. No siree, Bobby Orr. Power play up the score. Atlanta thrashing the beat so hard. Them Rangers on your board. No siree, Bobby Brown. The key, the gang still belong to me. We know that it's red. You got Fiale low from the pigs. No sorry about my sponge, you Squidwards. On my dictatorship like Hitler. It's World War III. And no say, can you see my country tizzy? They tried to mentally imprison me, physically and spiritually. I'm a god, you can't mimic me. Clone to the throne, I'm back to the bone. But bad, I'm XRP. Let's drop to the jet. In the jungle with lambs, no more me, so I can't go ham. When XRP past $1,000, y'all gonna be begging me to be some fans. Like my ceiling fan in Taipei. I'ma look at you like you speak Chinese. I'm a mothership over the 7 seas. That's my brand new highway. No lanes for HOV. I got some CBD. I got some TAC. Of course my XRP to pay for them toll fees. You know I keep my keys. No, I'm not a Freemason, so don't call me my G.
No sorry, Bobby, him it. No Egypt, more like him it. I said we the real Jews. They said I was anti-Semitic. No sorry, Ricky Bobby. I ain't racing no zombies. Neither pocket watching. XRP is my hobby. No sorry, Bob Marley. Young dreadlock Rastafari. Out the trenches for real. Triangular trapping tsunami. No sorry, Bob Dylan. This industry want my spirit. Think it's cap if you want. Go watch him on 60 Minutes.
You heard it here first on Wake and Bake Vibes. Twitter space, we live.
We got an exclusive from my boys, my bros, my right hand and my left hand, X Lemmy and Kamikaze, coming through, dropping that heat. Let's go.
I try to keep a positive vibe when the sky is gray. I hope to keep you smiling even if I've been away. You always wait for me to make the first move. I sorta kinda hate that you're so old school. I'm quick to fall in love, but I'm slow to pick these pieces up. And every time we argue, I just feel another lease is up. It's time for me to move, and I get into a groove. Cause I'm rough around these edges, but for you I'll make them smooth. All I feel I do is sacrifice, the product of a father who never followed his own advice. And I really just can't help it. This bottle's got the answer. I'm so gone, I'm selfish, I'm ugly and helpless. With you I'm a wreck, but alone I'm just reckless. And drunk by the time that we finish our breakfast. Man, I'm drunk by the time that you make your grand exit.
I'm feeling kinda vintage, like my grandpa's sweaters, wearing me out till I'm frayed, stained, torn, and tattered. What does it matter? I guess at least you getting used from me. I push for all the changes, now it just ain't what it used to be. I used to see you every day, every week. Now it's hard to find time, but I love when we meet. You always keep it offbeat, keep a dude on his toes. The sheer height of these seats is leaking blood out my nose, and I don't know what the fuck next. Where do we go from here? Half the time I'm underwhelming, other half you overbearing. I don't mean to be so mean, but I ain't on your frequency. Our wavelength's not the same, and that explains why my whole arm asleep. A part of me can never let go, the part I love the most, and none of me too old or adult. I'm trying to set the tone, so let it go. Our paths will cross when they cross. I'd rather pay to run the risk than operate at a loss.
This is the Wake and Bake Vibes with Too Cold, X Lemmy, and Killer Strider.
This Too Cold with the Too Cold XRPL Cookouts presents the XRPL Wake and Bake Vibes with my co-hosts X Lemmy and Kamikaze, aka Killer Strider. You know the vibes.
Whoa, whoa, this is a Wake and Bake exclusive.
Hey, what's going on? This is your boy Killer Strider, aka Kamikaze Monster, and you're now listening to the Wake and Bake Vibes with my boy X Lemmy and my girl Too Cold. Let's get it.
Just a crypto whale trying to eat some redfish. Fell in love with blocks and got a new money fetish. Hopped out the matrix, rewrote my own code. Illuminati still recruiting, but the shit getting old. It's hard to build when you beefing with the Masons. They haven't realized that the old ways are ancient. It's a new world, it's a new day. One way or another, I'ma get paid. Still at Boca Chica looking for Elon. Cleaned up all his shit, he act like he didn't see us. Pay me in Doge, unless you really broke. And if you buying all the land, you better fix the roads. Pussy, Akanaki sent me to expose all these demons. America dream only real if your ass is sleeping. About to pump GZX, then just dip. Hit Mexico and sign a deal real quick. I'm bullish on the peso, the Gustamino Robo. Meant to buy God, I got an NFT halo. Out in Dallas with the 9 on me like Romo. Self-made CEO who never pay for promo. Pumpin' dumpin' all night long. Crypto life, that's where I belong. Gotta get the cash, gotta stay strong. Pumpin' and dumpin' all night long. It's a cold world, the crypto game get risky. Turn 1 Bitcoin into 250. The IRS know I'm a blockchain trapper. On 6 blockchains, got more options than the poo-poo platter. I'm the niggas of the blockchain, pass my crown. Crypto nomad, bouncing from town to town. I'm a time traveler, a whole new timeline. No pussy in me, just know I lived 9 lives. Mandela effect, shit so real. Gold was the reason Gaddafi was killed. Wake up from the bullshit, I'm chewing on the blue pill. Crazy list of labs on that island, shit's like for real. Since 1936, I've been knocking out these Nazis. Got some euro in some yen, any moment I could go kamikaze heads, taking pictures. Tell them keep watching. Take an image of my face, you better send a copy. Pumpin' dumpin' all night long. Crypto life, that's where I belong. Gotta get the cash, gotta stay strong. Pumpin' and dumpin' all night long.
We getting it in at the XRPL Wake and Bake Vibes with Too Cold, X Lemmy, and Kamikaze. You know the vibes.
En el reino hay un alma que clama por mi amor.
Y te juro que no hay nadie que no sea solos. Y yo soy un vagabundo, solo será mi mundo. Aunque me pierda por el mundo, sé que no será mi mundo. Como reyes tú y yo, somos reyes en mi mundo. Y no puedo verte lejos de mí, nena. Sabes que no quiero un mundo, y ese mundo no es contigo. Yo te juro que no puedo dormir, nena. Cuando tú y yo estamos lejos, yo no encuentro mi reflejo. Como reyes tú y yo, somos reyes en un mundo. Y yo soy un vagabundo, solo será mi mundo. Aunque me pierda por el mundo, sé que vos serás mi rumbo. Y no puedo verte lejos de mí, nena. Sabes que no quiero un mundo, si ese mundo no es contigo. Y te juro que no puedo dormir, cuando tú y yo estamos lejos, yo no encuentro mi reflejo.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Slimmy. And you're listening to the Wake and Bake Vibes with Kamikaze and Too Cold. Whoa, whoa.
Triangular traps.
Little farmer, a big farmer. Play on words, gotta stay conscious. Gag gas or organic ganja. Wake and bake to go kamikaze.
What's up? It's the Wake and Bake. Too Cold and Gorilla J. Let me and Kamikaze bringing the vibes. So pull up, cause we live.
Yeah, an OG, smoking OG, good. I crush it down, break it up, roll it and smoke it slowly. The organic grown trees, a puff of that good weed. Put you on a vibe that can make for good stories. Go ahead and proceed to pass the joint and don't forget to play some music. It will stimulate the mind once you get into it. We can talk about it if you're into it. That's all me, let me and Too Cold get into it. And we all about the music, we all about the movement, creating a new movement. All about the vibes and there's nothing to it. Legendary status is where we at. Where music is therapy, so just relax. Triple dose of the music bags. No side effects, you know where it's at.
Little farmer, a big farmer. Play on words, gotta stay conscious. Gag gas or organic ganja. Wake and bake, Too Cold kamikaze. Little farmer, a big farmer. Play on words, gotta stay conscious. Gas or organic ganja. Wake and bake, Too Cold kamikaze. Read them all like Pearl Harbor, Coach Carter. Crypto Jace, X-rated, we grind harder. Then the clips, Lil Wayne and Dre. XRP a reject, they can't relate. Family matters, they used to call me Steve Urkel with my suspenders on and my bug tee. Sober knew the shawty and I was bug weed. Blood type diet, guess I'm a little farmer. Big farmer, still killing off the masses. Wake and bake, every episode a classic. I prefer a real body over a plastic. Son our muse, we been triangular trapping. Little farmer. A big farmer, play on words, gotta stay conscious. Gas, organic ganja. Wake and bake, Tuco kamikaze. Little farmer, a big farmer. Play on words, gotta stay conscious. Gas, organic ganja. Wake and bake, Tuco kamikaze.
Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome to another weekly dose of the Wake and Bake Vibes. I'm your host, Killer Strada, aka Kamikaze, aka your podcaster's favorite podcaster. And today we have an interesting episode. We have a guest coming through today. Before we get into it, I would like to send a shout out to everybody who will be attending the XRPL Las Vegas. Shout out to y'all, and shout out to XRP Bags this Friday, this weekend. All the best for the moon party. Hope everything goes well on that side. Without further ado, I'll be playing some music from our guest before we get him in on the stage. Let me just put this on, put it live for us to jam. This is one of my favorite songs on the platform right now. Been jamming this quite a bit. Let's get into it. This song is called The Master Investor. Let's get into it. This is the Wake and Bake Vibes with Too Cold, X Lemmy, and Killer Strider.
Never made your money. We yes and check. Yes and check. Yeah. 2 tech, 2 index, no stress. Sit back and relax. They get the bank rolling like a merry-go to start spinning. I get a bank roll that's pancakes, I'm flipping. I'm leveraged up, DCA while it's dipping. Doubled up on my position, double bottom, that's pimping. Church, 2 tech, 2 index, that's religion. Yeah. It's an EYL lifestyle that we live in. Rather be rich than be famous, but they keep screaming, come entertain us. It's a marathon, niggas stay dangerous. If I ever made you money, please yes and check. Yes and check. Yes and check. Yes and check. 2 tech, 2 index, no stress. Sit back and relax. If I ever made you money, please yes and check. Yes and check. Yes and check. You gotta earn your leash. Step by step. No time to fall back. In the bear market, I'm bullish, but still a pair to see in red. Means getting green, that's the game, but I bet them dividends will keep you fed. In the bull market, I'm cashing out, leaving slow money with the bag. Boy, I meet you back down at retracements. This the new digital dash, cash, money bling bling type shit. No limit, make them say on tight rich. Pick and roll with the market rotation. Don't get caught reaching, no chasing. The true transfer of wealth is through patience. Shout out to the EYL nation. Either Ian Dunlap got a crystal ball, or we live in a simulation. That's fact. If I ever made you money, please yes and check. Yes and check. Yes and check. Yes and check. 2 tech, 2 index, no stress. Sit back and relax. If I ever made you money, please yes and check. Yes and check. Yes and check. You gotta earn your leisure. Step by step. No time to fall back. Bear market, I'm bullish. Still a bear to see you red. Means getting green, that's a game, but I better dividends to keep you fed. In the bull market, I'm cashing out. Leave you slow, I push you back down every trace, it's the new digital dash cash. Money bling bling type shit. No limit, make us say all tight rich. Figure go with the market rotation. Don't get caught reaching, no chasing. You transfer wealth to patience. Shout out to the EYL nation. Either E and done, I got a crystal ball, or we live in a simulation. Walking in on Mondays. Big trap energy. Yeah. 19 keys to cash. Drop your cash, yeah. Rapping on the shit like cash, yeah. Boys got an enemy, cash, yeah. Only enemy is enemy. Drop your cash, yeah. Love is a remedy. Drop your cash, yeah. Cash, yeah. You wanna be essential. Cash, yeah.
And that was the Moss Investor by our guest. I would like to welcome Kendall Denmark, aka KD of the NOC. Welcome to the Wake and Bake Vibes. It's great to have you on.
Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you having me.
Welcome. Would you like to introduce yourself? Tell us a bit about who Kendall is, as well as the NOC. Who are the NOC? What is the NOC? Just give us a brief description and explanation on who Kendall is.
For sure. KD of the NOC. I've been an artist since I came out the womb with it. It's a long journey, a long story, but I started out as a producer. I became an artist, and then I ended up joining a group, the NOC. Those my brothers. I've been rapping with them for 10, 15 years now. We split up a little bit. A couple of us down in Miami, a couple of us in Orlando. So it's still family to life. But yeah, man, I'm a producer first, so I do the artist thing really out of necessity sometimes. Like I just have to get it out. It's in me, but I like to play the background. I like to work on the musical scores, help artists develop. I like the business side as well, so I do a lot of that with artists as well. And yeah, man, it's just been a journey. It's been a journey. I appreciate you having me though, and yeah, let's get into it, bro.
Awesome. I'd like to find out what got you into producing. Since you're a producer, I'm also a producer myself, but I would like to find out what got you into producing. What was your first encounter with music? What got you into music first and foremost?
Yeah, for sure. So my family, musical background, and a lot of them are singers, very talented singers, way better than I am. And I think that's probably the first taste, and then just the exposure through them, them listening to music around me, and just always kind of being something that my parents kind of pushed me towards. Interestingly enough, I guess you could say, just because a lot of parents, they will really obviously want you to do well in school, education wise, and things like that. But it always kind of seems that as if they were kind of nudge me and saying, hey, this family has a history of a musical background, and if you decide to do that, we'll support you and we'll be behind that. So and as a kid, you don't get a lot of those green lights with something that you actually like to do. So I think that was a nice little battery in my back. They let me get a little computer when I was about 15, set it up, and I'll be in there, 11, 12 at night. And they didn't mind that I wasn't going to bed early or, so it just kind of, I don't know, it fit them. So it fit me. And yeah, man, once I got that, that first taste of creation and being able to create something from scratch, man, you don't forget that. You don't forget that, and you constantly chase it. Like, it's hard to explain to people that don't do music, but I know someone like you that does, like you get it for sure.
Yeah, for sure. the whole thing of getting into music from, the go ahead from parents, that's kind of like a first for me hearing that. But I do kind of know that, yeah, as soon as like there is like some musicians or something regarding music running in the family, it does give parents a go ahead, because they probably want you to, follow in their footsteps, and probably exceed or excel in what they probably couldn't have done, or they probably just got hindered to stop in some way. One thing I want to find out as well is, what would you say the difference is between beat maker and a producer? I heard you say you're a producer, so what would you say the difference between a beat maker and a producer is? Because some people get confused with that.
Yeah. Great question. I mean, I pride myself on being able to do everything in music. So I take that beat maker role on as well. So, but I definitely think beat maker is somebody who's really coming up and executing the idea of the composition. Once you're talking about production, I mean, even within beat making itself, there's things that need to be done production wise, right? A little drop here, accent of something here, that you're doing within the instrumental work that's still gonna take that extra ear. Beat makers, they kind of like to go kind of quick. They want to get those ideas out. They want to get the idea out on the paper, the structure, how it fits the vocal or the artist that it's going to be with. That really is not probably one of the things they're worried about the most. And so they tend to just kind of get the ideas out and get them down. And then a producer is somebody that actually takes the time to kind of curate that into whatever you want to be. Even if you just want it to be an instrumental album, there's somebody that really understands production that'll find that instrumental and be able to take it up a notch just by little small accents, whether it's slowing up the tempos, speeding up the tempo at certain parts, half times, moving, intro to the back of the song, or vice versa. It's that person that just has a feel, and I think that's probably the biggest attribute that a producer has over other people, is they have a feel for music and emotion, and just, I don't know, I call it wave theory in general. They understand kind of how it's supposed to all come together at the end of the day, and then the small nuances that they're doing to create that total atmosphere, versus just trying to get the musical idea out and down.
Yeah, you mentioned something really interesting. The feel, and one thing I tend to focus on is, yeah, when it comes to producing rather than just making a beat, or like making the whole structure of a song, is more so creating a story and trying to fulfill that story for the artist, for that song, because you need to portray it in the way that the artist is, trying to put their story out there. And you need to add the certain effects, certain vibes to it. um you know all that matters when it comes to music. And like you said, a beat maker is someone who is really fast paced. They just want to get things out. And yeah, as a beat maker, sometimes it is kind of tough to, structure your beat, so you need to get someone to do it for you, especially when you get some vocals on top of it, because you just into making the loop. And the loop is just something real simple that you can just put copy paste, and the producer now sees the vision with that beat, and adds certain effects, cuts off certain percussion instruments, adds space for the vocals. Yeah, and sometimes it's kind of tough for me to to get into that. So what's one thing you would suggest for producers out there who would be starting off? How do you think they should go about, uh, creating a song or producing a song, if they are working for someone? What would the first thing you would first thing you would tell them?
Yeah, I think the first thing that you have to definitely understand as a producer is that you're just a vessel, you're just a tool in the belt. So the best advice I could get you to do is to listen to the creatives. So the people that are actually in charge of making the beats and the people that the artist that is going to be eventually, performing the song, getting as much feedback from them as possible to what they see within the vision. As a producer, like I said, you're a tool, so going from genre to genre shouldn't really matter as much, right? Whereas if you're a beat maker or an artist, you're probably going to stick more closely towards certain genres. As a producer, you should be studying music and you should be studying all music. So you should have a understanding of kind of those different things that make those genres unique, and then leaning on those creatives. So it's not really what am I bringing to it, but it's how am I bringing the best out of them and what they see out of it. And you should be a little bit more malleable. When you use words like a feeling and, like you said, a vibe, right? These things are a little intangible. They're kind of hard to put into words. And it's that magic spark. So that's your tool. That's the tool that you have. You have a way of understanding how to create that magic spark in the physical realm, I guess you can say, taking it from just the idea and putting it into more of a physical space, that people can listen to, understand, and enjoy. So if you ask me, the best piece of advice for anybody that's really looking to just get more into production is listen to the artists and the producers, and you're just trying to accent who they are and the best parts of them. You're not worried about trying to put necessarily your stamp and your sound and how you think it should sound on it. You're really just trying to be the glue that brings the producer, the artist together, the engineer, including too. I want to shout out to the engineers because I feel like they're artists in their own rights and they don't really get enough credit. But you're taking all of those things and compiling them into what ultimately should be the vision of the creatives.
Yeah, engineers are, yeah, they're well respected on my end. Like
Sure.
it is kind of tough to mix, like it really is hard to mix and master a song, especially get the certain frequencies and cut certain frequencies
Yeah.
off and add certain frequencies. It's a process, and it's something that people kind of don't really appreciate as much,
Not at
but
all.
it really is important. It is really important when it comes to the production side. When you were speaking about feeling, I wanted to find out, when you make beats, right? What's the first thing that you start with when making a beat? Is it the melody or is it the drums?
The age old question, right? How we starting it out. So personally, I mean, I've done it both. I've done music so long. I tell people there's no right way, there's no wrong way. I've had success with both. I've done both. But it's whatever gives you that feeling. I mean, as simple as that. It might be 808. Just hearing the 808, man, like, man, that's a nasty 808. I got to use that. You know what I mean? Or typically with me, I would definitely say my process involves more around synths, and instrumentals, instruments, melodies themselves. I think hearing the melodic lick is one of the most inspiring moments for me sometimes, especially if it's original and something that you really haven't kind of heard before. That's usually going to spark my ear and get me in the creative mode more than the drums. But also, I play keys, I play trumpet, I wasn't a percussionist, so I know a lot of beat makers, especially beat makers, are more on the percussion heavy side. And they usually probably tend to start with beats and drums. I'm filling in my grooves with the drums. I'm not building my beats around the drums, but I also collab a lot with beat makers and with drum patternists. Those are my best friends because they'll send me a drum pattern, and then for me that's like a whole nother great experience of being able to fill in their drum patterns with melodies. So I like doing it both. Personally, like I said, I'm more melodic based, so I start with the melody, but yeah, do both. Do both. Push yourself to do both, and there's no right and wrong way.
Awesome. one other question. So, since you said you started getting into the whole adding vocals, right, or becoming a
Mhm.
musician, when did you start, starting to get into the rapping or singing side of things? What really got you into that?
For sure. I mean, I think it's every producer's guilty little pleasure is to, to do a little something on the beat. So I think that's what got me into it. To be honest, when I was younger, I was probably not as confident as I am now with my productions and with my vocal talent. So production wise, I wasn't as comfortable. So it was like I wasn't good with going out and soliciting people to get on my beats, or selling my beats at that point. And you just kind of want to hear something on them. So I definitely started that, but I've always had a infinity for the vocal and the melodic side as well. I'm a man. I like I tell you, when I say I like everything that has to do with music. I like everything. I like every part of it: writing, engineering. I mean, the beat making process, just sitting back, helping artists bring their stuff to light. There's not a part of it I don't like, and I tend to get bored easy. So for me, it's very easy um, to shift from a beat making mode and then want to be an artist. And a lot of times, I'll tell you the truth, man. What happens is I make a beat, I make one of my better beats, and I'm like, all right, I got to get on this. It's like, nah, I can't let anybody have this. I gotta jump on this one. I think that's kind of like the perks of being a producer, right? You don't have to go into a studio and pick out a beat. So I'm more of a producer first, so I usually only really make stuff when I get that feeling when I'm making the beat, and I'm like, all right, this one's me. This one's for me. That's when I'll usually get in the artist mode. I have to be a little bit more inspired to be in artist mode versus production. I can wake up out of the bed and make a beat. That's always in me. So
Cool, cool, cool. I was actually listening to some of your work, especially one of your projects, ones that you started with. It was called um, it's a girls one, the one with the girls. The, man,
all these
the
girls,
it just slipped my mind. The All these girls, yeah, that
yeah.
project was really amazing. I like this the intro track as well as designated driver
Thank
DD.
you, thank you,
Like
thank you, brother.
your style was definitely on that old school vibe,
Mhm,
old school hip hop vibe, but you
mhm.
released it in 2016, or am I wrong? Was it 2016 or 2018? And it just gave me this whole nostalgic vibe of like the early 2000s sound. And I was like, wow, this is definitely dope. Like, we need more of this kind of sound.
Sorry, you broke up a little bit.
Sorry,
So,
cutting off here.
yeah, you broke up on them.
We're hearing too much of the 808s so much that we're not
Yeah.
really hearing like the lyrics.
Mhm.
So like hearing that girls project was really like an ear freshener in a way. It was a breath of
Uh,
fresh air, and it was an ear opener. So it was like, wow, okay, this kind of reminds me of that old school sound. So what really inspired you to
yeah.
kind of get into that bag when you made that project?
Man, that's a lot. You had a lot there because it's a lot of that is coincidental. So I appreciate you checking out the album for sure, man, and doing that research, checking it out, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. So first thing would be that it was not released in 2016. It does say 2016, but that's actually a re-release. So originally, and to get into hopefully the Sonar music stuff a little bit, but originally I was on CD Baby as my distributor. I didn't really like them, so I ended up taking the album off of CD Baby and re-releasing it on to DistroKid on Spotify through DistroKid and all the other outlets. So interestingly enough, that album was probably done in 2013, 2011, 2013. So the reason why it has that old vibe is because is because that's when it was. You know, it was an older time. It's funny that you caught that though. And then like you said about the 808. So here, that's an interesting part, and I hope people really kind of hear this. But so back then, like I was started out just like everybody, in production wise, I didn't have the sounds, man. Like I wanted the best sounds, but it's hard to find. It was way harder to find them on the internet. You know, there wasn't Splice, there wasn't, you know, any of these places where you can just go get loops. Everybody wasn't selling loops and beats like that. So I just didn't have those 808s. Like that was just it. Like I wanted them, but I didn't have them. So out of necessity, you just create with what you have. And I definitely feel like that's been the best part of my journey, is those early times when I had a lot less, you know, to work with. I think they made me such a better creator all around, just not having as many tools as I have now, you know. But yeah, that was the inspiration. Man, I'm big R&B. I love R&B. I'm an R&B head. I do like hip hop, but I'm definitely R&B through and through. So you probably heard a lot of that on the album. I was working with a local producer then who was actually doing the drums. So that was one of those incidents where I was doing a lot of melodic stuff, and he was kind of doing the drums on that album, on most of those songs. And it just, I mean, our style together, they definitely worked. And yeah, both of those tracks are two of my favorite as well. All These Girls, the intro track, and then Designated Driver is actually one of my favorite tracks as well. So I appreciate you taking the time to listen to those, bro.
Yeah, man. Like, I was like, wow. Okay, the singing, first of all, is like, it just hits some type of way. It gives me that whole T-Pain-ish era kind of vibe. So I was like, what? I gotta get into this a bit more. And then I got into your other project, Honest, right? Honest was it was like a step up from All These Girls. It was more of you. I feel like you were more in a confident vibe or confident stance when you made that one. It was you now, you know, getting used to making more music. I guess you probably were making music in between that time, but from that project, All These Girls, to Honest, it sounded quite you know, more mature, and you were speaking more on you know, more mature content. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm feeling this one. So with Honest, what was you know, your thought process? Where were you in that point in time, and how long you know, before, since the, you know, the dates are completely different. Okay, since I asked you when it was from 2016, but when you know, did you make Honest, and how long before, you know, All These Girls was that made, or after All These Girls was that made?
Yeah. So yeah, Honest was made. I tell people all the time, like, if you're hearing something, it's probably a couple years old already by the time I put it out. So I think I released Honest in 2022, I believe it was. And I would say that record was definitely like right before COVID. So, you know, sorry, I don't know if that gets you banned or whatever, but it was pre that time. So I had all of that time to kind of cultivate it, mix it, master it, and then put it out. I also think it's a great segue just to understand the dates in between. I did put out a few singles, but I also work on a lot of people's music. So if you do ever get a chance and you're on one of my socials, everything is KD of the NOC, and you get to you know, Spotify or any of my catalogs, you know, look for the features section, because I do a lot of work with some very, very talented artists around Orlando. Like I said, out of Miami. One of my best friend, Jo of the NOC, who's actually going to be featured on my new track that I'm releasing on Sonar. My partner in crime. And yeah, I work on all of his albums. So I do a lot of production on his. I engineer, mix, and edit for a lot of those people as well. So, I tell a lot of people all the time, if you don't see me dropping music, check the bass line, check who's producing the record, because that's probably where I am. And yeah, the confidence thing is huge. I think that's what happened too in between that time. I think I got a lot more confident in my production, and so that's when I really kind of started selling beats, started reaching out to artists and asking them to hop on my stuff. And yeah, I had a nice group of still have a group of talented artists around me that work with me, and they like to use my production. So during that time where you don't see a lot of artistry stuff going on, you can check my features. I have things there with other artists. I was executive producing albums. I was producing albums. So if you don't see me putting out music, that's what's going on. And then as far as honest, yeah, it was a more confident, more honest time in my life. So I think, as a studier of music and artistry, I think you learn at a certain point that, as a producer, I tend to be a little bit more in the background. I tend not to like the limelight as much. And I think that's just part of my personality. I think that's why we like production, is we kind of like behind the scenes gig. But as an artist, you do realize that, you have to step out, and you have to kind of be a little bit more transparent and honest with your listeners. And that's what they're looking for. They're looking for who you are. They want to learn you. They want to grow with you. And giving them those opportunities is important. So I was always such a creative person. I've never been, I wouldn't say, I've lied in any of my music. All my music is true. But my music is also creative, so it's stories that are different stories that are kind of put together to make a story. And I would say when I hit honest, it was more of telling, more true stories that were just kind of true incidents that had happened. And it also takes time to grow and mature and actually have that subject matter to talk about, right? You can't talk about love if you've never been in love. You can't talk about getting money and having money if you never had the money. So trying to be a genuine artist, you have to have, or you have to feel like you have that story to tell in order to gain that confidence. And I think you could see that confidence, like you said, on honest.
Yeah, definitely. So with that being said, during the honest time, right? I see there's some songs called, like, the one that caught my attention was Black Girl Magic. That's the one that I heard. And then Honest was the first track. But yeah, Black Girl Magic was something like the beat selection on this project was also completely different. It was like a whole different style. So what made you go with that kind of beat selection, more of that vibe? Was that just you evolving as an artist or as a producer? And yeah, from there, I see that that was pre-COVID. So off pre-COVID side, I see you have quite a bit of music made, but there was a song that also you just mentioned, your features. One that I heard was PB&J. That one, whoa, bro. Sheesh. Who produced that beat? Who produced that one?
Yeah. So it's actually producer named J Rock. He has some nice stuff around. I can't remember his major credits, but he has a couple of major credits. I can't think of them off the top of hand, but the artist that I'm with is Dub T. He's an Orlando artist, based artist, and I've worked with him for probably about almost 10 years now. We have quite a few credits together. And same thing, that track is, probably 2 years old. We put it out, this this past January. But it just tends to happen like that sometimes. We've been sitting on that one a while, just kind of figuring out what we want to do with it. But yeah, that's one of my favorite tracks as well. And then I think the other question that we were asking about was the influence behind those tracks on Honest. which I think the difference in those is that on Honest, I was doing all the production. So when you heard Gentleman's Club, like I said, that was a co-produced album with another producer, and then this album was all my production. And there was also a little switch in my production style as well. I started using a couple loops just to get different feels. I think Honest itself, it kind of has that Spanish, that bossa nova feel, so just trying to kind of introduce a couple different type of vibes into my music. I started playing around. Really what got me into that was I started playing around with some reggaeton and stuff like that, and I fell in love with really a lot of the Latin feels, Latin vibes, and yeah, so that was I think on that album I was trying to keep the songs truer to the feel of the sound, so that they were written around the production, and then the production was solely mine, which is nothing original to me, but as far as a whole project being originally my production, that was only one of the second or third ones that I've ever done, and the only one that's up on DSP currently. So new stuff coming, obviously, but right now that's the only one.
Awesome. So with that said, so would you like to explain the song that we did play, the Master
Yeah.
Investor? Is that something new? Is that something new you just
Yeah.
made? Because I do know, like myself, I have like a whole lot of music in my backlog, and you did speak about like having music in the vault,
Oh yeah.
and then you
Oh
just
yeah.
release it. Like, that's a lot of artists we like to do that, and especially not even only musicians, but like even like painters and visual artists. They have a lot in their vaults, and they take time to release it, because it's sometimes like you tend to want to cherish that work, and you like, okay, I'll take my time, or you like, it's not the right time yet, it's not the right time yet. So yeah, back to the Master Investor. What made you get into that song, and then what inspired you to make that song? And the other question would be, what got you into crypto? How did you get into crypto and the blockchain side of things?
Awesome, man. This the part I've been waiting for, man. So yeah, Master Investor. It's not as old as some of the other ones, but it's definitely a year or so ago. And it's inspired, if you don't know, by the master investor himself, Ian Dunlap. He's on a show called Marketing the Mondays, produced by a company called EYL. It's an ode to him, and just young Black men and women that are trying to get into investing and understanding the power of investing and what that can bring into our lives. So I mean, a lot of the stuff that I actually say in the song are things that he talks about, that he's taught, that he goes by. So the 2 tech 2 index, that's one of his adages. I obviously say his name in the end of the song. I also shout out other influencers, 19 Keys, Wall Street Trapper, just some bigger influencers in the game. I came into crypto, I think, man, 2018 and 2019. I had a young man at one of my jobs who just kind of mentioned it to me, and I'd already heard it, here and there, heard about it. And he just, he was just kind of he was a standoffish guy, didn't really talk to anybody, kind of kept to himself. And I don't know, we kind of clicked, and I was just talking to him one day, and he just kind of mentioned it, and him being his demeanor, who he was, and kind of how he carried himself, I was like, let me just check this out. There's something interesting about him bringing this up to me. And yeah, once I checked it out, man, it was over. It was a wrap. I think like everybody says, they have that aha moment. And for me, it was at a time where I was already kind of on the journey of investing, and learning about money in general. So it was just a breath of fresh air, I guess you could say. Because once you start, if you get into investing without crypto, it seems like such a slow game. Are there percentages to be made? Yeah, but you kind of really quickly realize that if you're not playing with a large amount of capital, then it's going to be hard to really make the gains in the amount of time that you're really looking for. I don't think crypto is different. I think crypto is just more drastic cyclical. So the opportunity in a short window of time is just a little bit better in the crypto space. You know, it takes time to learn that. When I got into it, man, it was starting to boom off again. You know, it's starting to, I think it was, you know, early 2020 when I started buying. I just got a Coinbase account. You know, there was Bitcoin, Litecoin, XRP, Ethereum, you know, and I grabbed Bitcoin, I grabbed Ethereum, and I said XRP super cheap. Let me grab that. I think Chainlink, I grabbed a couple Chainlink at the time, and I think within maybe 4 or 5 months, man, Chainlink maybe tripled. And I was just kind of like, all right, what is this? You know, and from there, just started researching. And, you know, thank goodness there was the influencer culture was also coming about around that time. And there was a little bit more information being kind of talked about. So it was kind of a little bit easier to get a hold of than I think some of that information would be to get a hold of in the past. And yeah, from there, you know how it goes, man. Once you get a taste, man, it's it's over, brother. It's over.
Yeah, there's no going back when you start getting into the crypto space. It's like once you get in deep into it and you start to understand it, it's like, yeah, I definitely am gonna stay here, and that's and the community is quite big. It's quite big, and you can find people who you can relate to and can build with. And that leads me to the next question about Web3. So, how did you get into like the Web3 space, especially the Web3 music space? Have you explored any Web3 music platforms? Which ones tickled your fancy? And what kind of is going to be the driving force for you to, start getting more into Web3 and even the metaverse side of things? Are you into the metaverse?
So Web3 in general, it was definitely I mean the music, obviously. I think NFT craze hit 2021. And as a musician, any kind of artist, you see adjacent artists doing something that, is working. And I think that's automatically gonna kind of spark your ears. So 2021 was obviously a little bit early. We kind of saw what was happening, didn't understand it as much as, probably needed to at the time, but I definitely jumped in. I got on OpenSea. I minted my first NFT through music NFT through Rarible. And at that time there wasn't a lot of people even really minting music NFTs, but I got a little digital image, put it up with a video and minted it on OpenSea, and I actually sold it, interestingly enough, maybe within 2 or 3 months. Didn't think that was going to happen, but it sold pretty quickly. And then after that, I minted a couple more through OpenSea. Didn't really have a chance to dabble with a lot of the other music Web3 platforms. I know of, XYZ, and I know of Gala Music. But the opportunity to interact with those platforms wasn't given, which does lead me to obviously Sonar Muse, which first of all, breath of fresh air, because I over the time you do enough research and you just become an XRP head. It kind of happens once you do enough research. You kind of realize, all right, this is somewhere I want to be, somewhere that makes sense to be, especially if you're getting into a space such as this where it does cost to mint, it does cost to transact, it does cost to listen, things like that. You want to be within an asset that's going to be able to, not only hold its value, but grow its value, and then be able to also keep those transactional fees very low. So that was just a natural fit for me. I'm so thankful for you guys for reaching out to me. Purple reached out to me on Twitter after I just kind of engaged with a post, and he asked me if I would, be interested in being a dev. And man, I was like, man, it's like prayers being answered. It's like you don't know how you're gonna get into it. You just want to get into it, and I just knew I needed to, start interacting with the people that were into it. And man, I just want to take this time to tell you guys how grateful I am for giving me the access and being able to learn and grow and to see it work real time. Like we were discussing things even before during the show, about what's going on the platform. So I mean, those things to me they're almost mind blowing to be a part, of something like this so early. So I appreciate you guys for that. You have helped me in taking that step into Web3, and understanding that, man. Ultimately, I see a lot of people right now, especially on X, that are saying, "Hey, DistroKid flagged me for streams, and this is happening, and I didn't get enough streams, so they're taking my stuff off." And you kind of see the writing is kind of on the wall with these other platforms, distributor platforms. They're getting 10,000 songs uploaded a day. It's just the writing's on the wall. It's not gonna hold up, especially if we're not making money like that. So being able to hop on to what you guys have built, man, I'm amazed, man, amazed. It's still being updated constantly, and the opportunities are so endless. The hardest part right now is obviously probably getting people onboarded into the Web3 in general. But man, I've been telling every artist I can about what's coming and what they should expect as far as the Web3 space for musicians and how we can benefit. And like I said, man, thank you guys for letting me be a part of it. I appreciate it, and anything that I can do to help you guys and push forward, please let me know, because I would love to be a part of that. So.
Appreciate it, because it is kind of tough to get artists onboarded, because it seems like a tough process. I really appreciate you taking the time to get introduced to the platform. Shout out to Purple Rain. He's really good at looking and scouting for artists. He knows his stuff, so I
Shout
appreciate
out to Purple,
that
man.
he got you. Yeah, he definitely knows.
Yeah.
He knows his music. So it seems like, yeah, the problem that comes to mind when it with Web3 is that the onboarding process is the issue. People kind of having a hard time getting their wallets, setting it up. There needs to be an easier way, but I guess the only way is just to dive into it. And once you do get into it, you'll realize that, hey, it's pretty easy. It's not that bad. And the next step from there, from the Web3, of course, we tend to try to improve and help, provide tools for artists that would help them expand their music careers in so many ways, as well as them connecting with their fans, because that's what Web3 is more about. It's more about the community than just you as an artist. It's more about satisfying your community and providing to them, because they're the ones who are putting you up. They are the ones who have been building your career because the exposure you've been getting. And that leads to kind of like the topic that we should be talking about, and we're going to be talking about, is the exposure, just getting out there. But with Web3, it's really that kind of thing. We really need to get into the point where the fans take control and direct the artists more in that way, and the artist just focuses on their art, and that's what the Sonar Muse platform is trying to do. We actually plan to provide the service of allowing you guys to just make sure that you can do things with ease, get the tools out there, especially on the XRPL, since everything is instant. All you do is just sign transactions. You just enable certain features such as web monetization or getting micropayments, and all of that, so that you can focus on the music now. All you need to focus on now is just providing for your community and making sure that they are satisfied. I guess that's the most important thing now. And we aim to provide so many tools in the futures. And once again, appreciate it. Your feedback is always important to us. We really appreciate your feedback, and
Definitely.
all that we do, especially me being an artist as well. I think of tools that would definitely benefit me as well as other artists. So I see things from the perspective of an artist as well. Like, okay,
Mhm.
what if we have this? What if we put this? Because an artist might need this. And then I also think of it from the standpoint of a listener or a fan, like, oh, I would want to do this, such as, the new feature that we, testing out, and I see that you've tested out too, which is the Regium shares, the
Yep.
royalties.
Yep.
So being able to invest in an artist, being basically a master investor now, you
Yes,
can
sir.
invest in some your favorite artists, and earn from it, like earn a portion of their royalties. It's like, wow,
Mhm.
I'm basically now a shareholder, and being a shareholder now gives you the responsibility as a shareholder to kind of push that song to get
Yes.
to where you
Yes.
want, so you can get some
Yes.
returns, because now
Yep.
the music is a commodity. It's more of
Yes.
like a stock now. So
Yes.
now you can create the value of, that's why your fans are important. They create the value for your
Mhm.
music now.
Yep.
They create what your song is going to be like. And even if they invest now and the song's not blown up, maybe 10 years down the line and they still own the shares, 10
Mhm.
years down the line, that song might just blow up, and the numbers go up. They're gonna be getting returns, and it's like, yo, this is amazing, because
Yep.
you just own this, and you can just keep it, and the value just appreciates. It can appreciate as much as it needs to. So that's the beauty about music. Music is an appreciative asset more than anything. I see it as an appreciative asset, and a commodity like gold. It should be like its own
Yep.
in its own category, similar to that. So tokenizing music
Yep.
was the next step for us. We saw that to be something beautiful. But yeah, Web3, the Web3 space is an interesting space. A lot of creative things can happen. um, I want to find out, before we get into a music break, where do you see the Web3 space going? Where do you see the Web3 music space going? What do you envision for the Web3 music space and for your career?
Yeah, definitely. I think the biggest thing is are all the things that you just mentioned with the Web3 space. I think is giving not only the fans but giving the artists back control of their asset. I think that's the biggest portion. I think the term sellout is for a reason, because as an artist, you get to a point to where you have to quote unquote sell yourself. So I think that bridging that gap between the artists and the fans and making it a direct connection versus those intermediaries is huge. Um, Interestingly enough, I think you brought up a great point. With the last question, which was what was the timing behind the master investor, and the timing kind of happened because I was trying to figure out ways how to incentivize not only fans but like the people that are very close to me that have inspired and pushed me and pushed up my music all of these years. I have a very core group of people that have been, have my back. And I was trying to find ways to kind of give back with them. And so, DistroKid has a mechanism where they'll allow you to do splits, where you can split the royalties between the different creatives. Well, I took it a step further and said, I want to give my friends a part of the royalties. So as an incentive, like you said, that they can make money off of it. And if you're gonna support me anyway, as they have been, why shouldn't you get part of that? So I literally just put them in the DistroKid split, to give them part of the royalty share. And so it's like even then you kind of saw the writing on the wall where things were going. And yeah, that's the master investor just made sense because if I'm gonna be talking about investing, I should probably be doing it the right way. And Web3 it just seems to be the right way. I think you can look at the old model and look at the model of Web3 and not see the advantages that are there. When you're talking about the royalty share, I mean, if you really kind of understand economics, the way that Sonar Muse has it set up is it's almost like you control your own economic system. Like it's like you can almost have your own inflationary and deflationary type things going on. And I mean, it's pretty wild. It's pretty creative. So for me, as someone that happened to be getting into investing, and then now being able to infuse the creative part with that, it's almost a dream come true. And I think as this music thing becomes more and more individualistic, decentralized, if you may call it, I think that's what you're gonna start seeing is more savvy artists that are looking for ways to monetize and to fuel their fan base, in order to help propel their careers where they want it to go. Everything that you guys are putting out there, I see features, and I'm like I said, I'm kind of blown away. The NFT minting, um, is another option. The micro streams is incredible. That is the biggest. That's the first one that made sense to me that I have been waiting for was micro stream. I thought one of the big guys would do it by now, but to have that available, I think it just makes sense. And I think that's part of the onboarding part with the artists. I think once you get artists on board, they'll understand why it makes more sense. They'll understand, yeah, they might be taking a couple extra steps to do these things, but there's a reason why. There's an advantage to doing them that way. And I think that's what, as far as an artist, that's what you want. You want to have that control. It feels like I said, you almost have to sell out to get anywhere in the industry these days. And I think that's what most artists are looking for, a way to be able to keep their asset, their art, their asset in their hands and be able to control that. So.
That's definitely true. Artists do need to, if they really want to still keep, or have full control of their music or their work, they would need to take those extra steps. Or what they could do is probably, kind of get signed in some way for somebody else to
Right.
kind of control their accounts. But you wouldn't want that because the blockchain is so beautiful because you get to see everything being done. It's transparent. You can see the payments going through between wallets, where it's going, who it's going to, where it's coming in, where it's going out. So that's the beauty of it. And yeah, the one thing I know artists are definitely going to enjoy is the micro payments, especially once we do go live. Since we're still under beta, there's still a limited amount of people, there's a limited amount of people accessing and streaming, especially with the streaming side. That's the most exciting part, being able to receive these payments in real time, seeing that somebody's listening to your music and you're accumulating from your fans, your listeners, unlike you getting paid out based on your streaming numbers. And that's one thing I wanted to find out from you. Like, do you think streaming numbers should be a way for artists to get monetized? Do you think that's should be a metric for the payments? Or do you think it's just should be like needle time, similar to, of course, what we're doing? Because we definitely focus on the needle time aspect, like the radio pays out per needle time, per second, basically. So do you think the streaming numbers, do you think that's a fair metric compared to the sales, the music sales? Do you think that's a fair metric to compare music streams to, somewhat similar to the sales, as well as like the payout side of things? Do you think that's really worth it?
Yeah, I think it's fair. I think that you have to have it in context. Um, I think right now the biggest problem that we're having in the industry is, for some reason, there's an outside influence on artists to be more than artists. What they really want a lot of artists to be is entertainers, and I think those are two different things. I also think there's a outside force on artists to be their own business people, and I don't think that is a necessarily uh, someone came in and manufactured that, but I think that's a symptom of the problem that we have in artists as artists, like you said, which is the transparency aspect, right? We would love to be able to hand over that business part to someone and say, "Hey, take care of it." But usually, when that happens, typically something funny happens with the money. So I think those three things are twisted, and I try to tell artists, if you're an artist, if you want to be an artist, then those streaming numbers shouldn't matter to you at all. The only thing that should matter to you is creating that art and putting it out for the world to see. How it's received should not matter if you're a true artist. So as an artist, I don't think the streaming metrics matter. If you are an artist that wants to be monetized, then you better understand that streaming is a metric that you're going to need to leverage in order to get you better in a better position as an artist. But I also think that's a certain type of artist, right? That's an artist that is looking at the business, which is different than from a pure artist. And then the third is the entertainer. I don't think entertainers necessarily have that business acumen, right? But entertainers do know how to hold attention. So when you talk about needle time, I think that's a metric that's an entertainer. How good as an artist are you at entertaining people? Because your art can be good, but people hear it and say, "Oh, that's good," then that's not going to pay the bills. So you need to be able to deliver in a way that's entertaining enough to keep people listening and coming back to listen over and over again. So are the metrics fair? I do think they are fair, but I do think that you have to take them within context of what the goal of that artist is and what they're trying to attain.
All right. What do you since you're saying it's fair? So, what do you think of the new rules that Spotify has come up with, where you have to get at least maybe 1,000 streams in order for you to start getting paid out or monetized? Do you still think that's fair, or is that like a crazy metric or crazy reach for an artist, especially the independent artists? Let's not speak on like the record label artists. Let's speak on the independent artists. What's your take on the whole Spotify thing when it comes to being an independent artist?
Yeah. Same thing. I think it's fair. I think if you're an independent artist and you're a true artist, I consider myself a true artist. So when I put my work out, like how many streams I get has no influence on me at all. That's not why I'm putting it out. I also think that's why it's nice to be the artist and producer, right? I think my productions, I want to see numbers on my productions, you know what I mean? But as an artist, like I just put it out and I put it out there because it's what I like to do. And it's just kind of me getting off, on what I like to do. So I do think it's perspective. I think it's fair. I think, the way it's kind of set up, if people really understand how the streaming pays out, right? You're not really getting your exact number of streams. You're getting a percentage of the total streams of the month. And, you're getting a chunk based on what that those biggest artists got. So you're not even really getting paid per stream. You're getting paid per percentage of the streams that you got. So if you look at it like that, the smaller independent artists, we're not gathering as much attention as those larger artists. So in that right, technically it's fair, and the only thing that you can say to combat fair is go out and build your own. And that's why I do believe you have the right to question it, is because you did that. You know what I mean? No one can, you said, I don't care if it's fair or not, I'm gonna go get done what needs to get done. And I would say that for artists as well. So, the rules of the game is you decide whether you want to play or not. And I would just say, if you're an artist and you love to make music, don't be results based. Make your music and put it out. There's somebody that'll love it. You'll find your community. I guarantee you that. But if you're doing it for the love of art, you don't need all that extra. You really don't.
Yeah, for sure. That's one thing I want us to get into, exposure in the music industry. But we'll get into it after the music break. And then once we come back, we're gonna get into the exposure thing. We're gonna then speak about the overrated, underrated topics. And then we have an exclusive new track from uh KD. We're gonna be playing a bit later. So stay tuned. And yeah, let's get into some music once again. This is the Sono Muse playlist. Once again, all the artists are getting paid in real time. So let's get it. This is the Wake and Bake vibes. Let's get into some Wake vibes before we get back into the interesting conversation conversation once again.
We getting it in at the XRPL Wake and Bake Vibes with 2 Code, X Lemmy, and Kamikaze. You know the vibes.
Dirty Diana, no. Dirty Diana, no. I gave you everything, oh, and you took everything, oh. Dirty Diana, no. Dirty Diana, no. I gave you everything, oh, and you took everything, oh. Dirty Soon as I wake, it's more money to make. You say you high class, huh? How better treat you great? I'm hustling daily. I supply you with cake. I give you my trust. You know the commas that saves. Had you whipping my Benz. Had you pushing the race. Seen you watch on my moves. And you study my waves. I was moving them pounds. You was still little age. Money came up missing. You said check out my homie Dre. I thought I could change you. And the games that you play. You said everything's fine. It'll all be okay. Just believe in me, baby. You know I won't stray. I gave her my all, but she still gonna betray. Diana, no. Dirty Diana, no. I gave you everything, oh, and you took everything, oh. Dirty Diana, no. Dirty Diana, no. I gave you everything, oh, and you took everything, whoa. Dirty She used her beauty, honey made me her prey. She could text on the phone when she thought I was turned away. The whole time I was being real, the whole time she was being fake. All I did was give, all this woman did was take. How you hanging out with those same niggas that hate? The ones who put up, tried to run in my place. Oh, I understand now. You ain't love me no way. Seduction with passion. To get in my good grace. Setting up trap, winning the arms race. My money, that's all I chase. This girl was a real waste. So now she's got dirty everything, whoa, dirty
You are now listening to the Wake and Bake Vibes every Thursday with Killer Strider, Too Cold, and X Lemmy. Come join us and catch some vibes. Spot one.
getting it in at the XRPL Wake and Bake Vibes with 2 Code, X Lemmy, and Kamikaze. You know the vibe.
Yeah, it's time to step up the game, cuz. It's time to get in a new lane, cuz. Whoa, get the fuck out of my way, cuz. Yeah. I've been working on a new way for generational wealth. Now I got my shit together with my physical health. Stepping my game up, chasing 2023 goals. Because in 22, I lost a part of my soul. And I've been dealing with the process. Something switched in my head and now I'm turning to a motherfucking Loch Ness. Taking mine, I'm getting into position. Buying all these tips, I'm hustling on a mission. And now the vision is clear if you do diligence. Yeah, it's a risk, it's not for the faint-hearted kids. Throwing all my chips in. Fuck it, I've got nothing to lose and I have to do something, bitch. These other billionaires not giving a fuck. They've been doing it for years, so now it's time to step up to get my piece of the pie. See, my community's flying, won't stop till the motherfucking day that I die. Yeah, I've been handling my business, stacking up, getting myself into position. These days I'm on a mission, sharp and ready for that digital transition. Yeah, I've been handling my business, packing bags, getting ready to reposition. Cause when that bull run come, we'll be taking full advantage of that new income. And even knowing what to do when it comes. Little percentage on gold, a little percent on fun. A large percent towards the family and the ones that you love. Just having the freedom to help anyone that's under the sun is the main goal. That's why I'm like, hey yo, learned about the tech, different blockchains and cryptos, the problems they solve in the system that is corrupted and old. Because the new way that we move is interoperable. Whoa, the transparency is key. The current system we using is lacking honesty. There's nothing new, my G. We going digital whether you like it or not, my G. So get your piece of the pie before it flies. And prices to get in are just too damn high. Don't miss the op, they can change your life. And a reminder, none of this is financial advice. Cause yeah, I've been handling my business, stacking up, getting myself into position. These days I'm on a mission, sharp and ready for that digital transition. Yeah, I've been handling my business, packing bags, getting ready to reposition. Cause when that bull run come, we'll be taking full advantage of that new income. Yeah, I've been handling my business. Sharp and ready for that digital transition. Yeah, I've been handling my business. Cause when that bull run come, we'll be taking full advantage of that new income.
This is the Wake and Bake Vibes with 2 Code, X Lemmy, and Killer Strider. Off the whole time. Done. Okay, so welcome back once again. Appreciate your patience. So I was speaking about exposure and getting your music out there. So I was saying that you know now we're in a phase of like somewhat the metaverse and being out, getting exposure through social media, um, through TikTok, Instagram. Performances are rarely a thing now because COVID kind of killed that. The pandemic kind of, you know, destroyed that aspect of things. What's your take on where's the best place for an artist to actually get exposure? Do you think performing live is still a good way of getting exposure, or is the social media route the best way? What's your best, you know, input for that? Oh, your mic is off as well.
Got you. Sorry. So yeah, I think combining those two, the social media aspect with the live performance, anytime you can get in front of a group of people, I think you should take advantage as an artist. That's going to be the best exposure. Live is still the king, but that being recorded or that being broadcasted live through social media is just as acceptable nowadays. So um, what I find with artists and most of the artists I work with is that they feel more comfortable doing one or the other. They either feel more comfortable getting online and performing, or they feel more comfortable interacting in real life, and they have a hard time recording those interactions in real life. So I think meet the artist where they're at. If there are artists that tends to like to just perform randomly, have a camera around them all the time and be able to go live and share that to social media. And then if you have someone that doesn't like to necessarily go out and perform outside at venues and things like that, make sure that person has a camera set up in their home or wherever they're recording at, in order to be able to court from that aspect. So live, I still think is king either way, whether it's done through social media or not. It's hard to say that social media is not, or just the web in general is not the best source, because that's where you're going to be able to gain the most exposure at one time, right? You can get 1 billion people online to watch you. You're not going to be able to get 1 billion people in one physical place to watch you. So that would definitely lead me to I guess what you're talking about, which is metaverse, Web3, and how that kind of ties into how musicians are doing the live music now. And I think if you're not taking advantage of social media, then you're losing for sure. Versus I still think you can be an artist that goes out and just plays venues, and you can make a living that way. But the amount of exponential growth you would see if you were simply recording yourself doing that and broadcasting it online in some way, I think it's not even close.
Yeah. There has to be some type of bridge between the physical and the digital world. And I do see some people incorporating that definitely with the metaverses, where they do invite people to their live performances in person as well as on the metaverse, where they are streaming the live performance and allowing people to actually dance in the metaverse and enjoy themselves online. And then because people have like digital avatars and stuff like that on the metaverse, so they can just enjoy themselves and interact with other people there, because some people are they're in their comfort zone being in the metaverse. Like you said, an artist also could be just be comfortable performing in the metaverse, and they find it to be way better because they could probably market themselves or create the persona or the image they want online, compared to in the physical realm or in the physical world. But it also provides them with a way to start getting used to interacting with people, and then moving out to the real world where they can interact with their fans. So another aspect that you did mention is the whole social media thing, I won't lie. For me, for myself, I do find it kind of challenging because I'm not really in much into the social media, but it definitely would help, and it does help. I won't say it would help, but it does help uh, an artist get more exposure if you do market your music. Post some snippets, some clips of your music. You can't just say, "Hey, I've just released this song. Go check it out." You're not big yet if you're doing that. Only big artists can do that, and you're not big yet. You can't do that if you're just starting off. You need to keep pushing it, and repetition is emphasis. Though you may feel like it's annoying, just posting the same song over and over again, it low key does get into people's heads, and they might just eventually click on it because they see it a lot. So it does help to just be somewhat a spam bot as an artist. You should kind of get into that role. It does get you exposure. And doing that also gets you into those explore pages and stuff like that, and you might potentially get it your song trending in some way. And speaking of trends, um you think what's a way for an artist, what way do you think an artist can start trending, or their music can start trending? What do you think an artist should do in order to get their music to start trending?
Yeah, I think content right now, content is king. You can't deny it. I'm with you. It's hard for me to stay consistent social media wise, um, just because I'm a little bit older, so I didn't really come grow up with the social media thing, as a lot of the young kids do. But if you are an aspiring artist in content creation, and I would say the easiest way to do it, and the way that I'm telling artists to do it right now is to be kind of a function of where they're at. Right, there's not a lot of artist development, so a lot of times I work with artists that coming in and they have an unfinished song. They have a hook, they have a verse, and then they don't really know what they want to do after that. And I tell them the easiest way is take that unfinished hook and verse, record yourself a video, and put it on the internet. Don't worry about going through Spotify, don't worry about putting it on DSP, don't worry about any of that. Just record yourself performing whatever music that you have currently, and do that and put that out. That, along with making sure that you're watching what content creators are posting, what things are trending. I think those are very easy ways, right? People talk about it all the time. Captions, right? Have a caption on your video, right? Show your face in the video. That's one that I struggle with forever, that I still struggle with. But everybody wants to see your face. Anytime you put your face in the video, you're going to get that much more engagement, than just posting, "Hey, come listen to my music, come listen to my song." Like I said, I'm a producer, so everything I tell my artists all the time, everything you see me doing online that I'm posting about, I'm doing it for you. I'm doing it to show you that I'm not just gonna tell you to do it. I'm gonna do it as well, and to get in those habits, and to learn, and to make sure that I'm studying what's going on, what's going on in social media, what's trending, what other content creators are doing. Those are things that are important to me. I do have a label, a LLC, so I do work with a lot of artists, and I do work to try to develop them. So I do feel it's a responsibility for me to kind of know what's current and trending, and less on them, but to make sure that I am informing them on those things, and that they're producing that type of content. Because right now it's just very simple. Short form content leads to long form content, which will lead to hopefully them listening to your music. And then, right, we're trying to get them to the live show. So live show is still the king, and it's a funneling system, and it's a very short attention span that they have. A little, when you upload on Canva now, you put a visualizer, 8 seconds, your little 8-second visualizer. That's about the amount of time that you have to catch someone's attention and to get them into the next step of your funnel. So short form content right now, take that unfinished verse, or that unfinished song, or that unfinished hook you have, make a video of it and put it out.
Yeah, you did touch on something right there, with the attention spans. It is really scary, but it's something that we gotta get used to, that the short form content is not a thing. where all the social medias are now focused on that. We now have YouTube Shorts. We had the first was Vines. Vines were
Vines,
what
yeah.
came first, and then we got into the Snapchat era where Snapchat, started allowing people to create these small short statuses, stories, and
Stories.
then now we've gotten to the Instagram stories and now Instagram Reels and Facebook. And we get into that point where like it's a thing where now we're just creating quick commercials for ourselves. We're just gonna be creating so many commercials that have to attract people in an instant. And if it isn't catchy within the first, 10 seconds, people might just change the channel and move to the next one.
Yeah.
And it's sad, but we
Yeah.
definitely get
Well,
into
well,
that.
well, well, can I say something to that? Because I don't think it's sad. Like I said, if you notice what I said is use the unfinished stuff. As an artist, we have so many things that we don't finish and we don't use. If you just took those moments, because you created it because you felt a moment that gave you a moment, and that moment was enough to get your attention to make you create that song. If you take those unfinished moments and those little moments that you use of songs that you're not going to put out, and just take those little moments and put those into your content, now you're not using the content you're going to be putting on DSP. So they're getting something that's original, that's different. And then you're also reusing all of that stuff that you didn't use. I have so much stuff that I will never use all of my stuff. No one will ever hear all the music I created. But if I can just take those things I already have, now you're not working twice as hard. Because to be honest with you, as an independent artist, to try to keep up with an amount of content creation that the big companies are able to produce, it's not realistic, right? So, you're already creating content for the music that you're trying to sell. Now, if you just take a lot of that unused music that you have sitting around and take those moments and use those, then it'll make your life a lot easier.
Yeah, that's an interesting takeaway right there. I'm gonna definitely do that. Use the unfinished content or unfinished music drafts, the ones that you kind of stuck with, and haven't finished, and use it as content. And maybe one day someone might be like, "Hey, there's a full song."
Yeah.
And you like, I haven't finished it. And then they might be like, hey, can I jump on it? Can I finish it? Can I? And you can collab and connect. I see the picture now. I see the vision. Yeah, definitely. That definitely is something that would help because, then anyway, like you said, you might not use that content. So why not make use of it
Why
for
not?
sure?
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a great takeaway there. Appreciate that one.
Sure.
I think a lot of people might find that to be a gem. I hope it is a hidden gem for those in the back end who are watching and listening. That you definitely will need to do that at some point. Just make use of all that content. You probably have a lot of stuff in the
Got
vault
it.
in the
It's
drafts.
there. Everybody got it. We all got it.
So just let it out, and sometimes you're really nervous, and that gives you feedback too.
Yeah.
So you getting a response from the people like, hey, okay, this one may be the one, this may not be the one, and you might also find a way to reinvent yourself because you have songs where you might have reinvented yourself or experimented with some sounds that you are kind of not really confident to release. This could be a good way. So yeah, I'm changing my perspective on the short form content. Yeah, it's definitely something, and it's quick. You can definitely make a whole lot of short form content in a day. A whole hour's worth of content can be a whole week's worth of content now in terms of the short form content, on even a month's worth of content. So yeah, definitely appreciate that one. That's definitely a gem. I do have a question for you. So which do you prefer? Do you prefer going to live performances, doing live performances? Do you prefer like going out and performing your music? Is that the best way for you to get exposure, or is social media one of the ways that you prefer?
Yeah, I'm definitely all social media now. As far as performing, man, I hate performing. I won't lie. I am the worst performer. And it's just simply because I'm such an analytical person. I never get into the performance. I'm always just worried about how the performance is going versus just kind of losing yourself. Ironically enough, I've done probably over 200 shows. I've been on tours. I've done it, man, and it's just a process for me. It's not it's not really pleasurable. So I'm just a studio head, man. I love being in the studio. And once again, I'm a truist. So, even promoting myself as far as the music goes, it's not really, I don't really look at that. It's more of a fulfillment for me. I love to make music. I'm gonna share it with the world one way or another. Whether I make money and monetize off of it, it's never really been my goal. So I more dabble now in the promotion and the understanding of a business for the younger artists. I just feel like, as someone who has been in the industry and through a lot of this stuff, having that information and then not giving that to younger artists that are coming along that can use it, even if it's not my goal to aspire to, like, that's selfish of me, because I have gone through experiences that they haven't, and I can lend a helping hand in getting them to where they want to go. So like I said, anything I do as far as promoting my music, I'm doing it in order to learn those processes and perfect those processes in order to teach them to the artists that I'm developing. I'm not really doing it. It's more almost like testing, right? Beta testing just through my own accounts, with my promotion to see what's working and stuff like that. So that's just my personal take on it. But like I said, I think you have to be infusing both. You have to bridge that gap. If you're an artist, you have to touch the people. I do love going to performances of the artists that I work with now. I would say that's my new passion, is the artists that I'm working with, going to their performances. And more than even just, hey, how are you performing on stage, but what are you doing off the stage? Are we talking to people? Are we networking? Are we connecting with the right people? We're taking pictures, we're making sure that we're getting people out to the events, all of those little things I do really enjoy now with the artists that I work with. And to me, that's always been more fun than even performing. It's funner to get to go and watch them do it, and then also teach them the back end of the business side when it comes to how you actually conduct yourself in those performances off stage. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing, man. I see I'm also a person like that. So I see myself in your shoes, that like the performance side of things. I do want to perform a bit more in person. I did try doing the live stream thing and being in somewhat the metaverse side. It's really fun, and you basically in your comfort zone. So it's a good way. But yeah, just you know being setting an example for those around you is the best feeling and the best thing to do. So I give you props for that. Just at least setting an example for those who you're working with, just so that they can better their careers and move forward a bit further than where you left off. So yeah, that's a great way. So some keynotes from this conversation so far is, just make sure that you use some short form content. Just make sure that use your short form content, your content or unfinished work, to kind of um release that to your audience, so that you can at least get their attention and get more people to gravitate towards you. Another thing is, find a way for find an avenue when it comes to performances which suits you, such as maybe being in the metaverse, or maybe going out live speaking to people. And those are some ways for you to get exposure, or even an intermediary of both. That's some ways for you to get exposure as an artist. So now we can get into the next segment. Let's get into the next segment, which is overrated, underrated. I'll be explaining what overrated, underrated is. We'll just be speaking on some topics, and you'll tell me if it's overrated or underrated. So let's get into it.
Life ain't really tragic, cause life is really magic. It's full of a lot of tricks, like a hat loaded with rabbits. You always get a chance, so you gotta go out and grab it.
Yeah, so overrated, underrated. If you're in the chats, you could just say overrated or underrated. Just type that in. So with overrated, underrated, I'm just gonna mention something. You'll tell me if you think it's overrated or if it's underrated. For those on the Twitter Space side, you know the drill. Just put the thumbs up if you think it's overrated. Thumbs down if you think it's underrated. Let's get into it. So the first thing is lip syncing, or lip singing lyrics at a performance, or using a backtrack with your vocals on it. Do you think that's overrated or underrated?
I don't know how it's meant in the context of the question, but I think you definitely shouldn't be singing over your lyrics. I do love backtracks, and if they are done correctly, they are going to make your performance more professional and polished. If they are done correctly, is the key there.
So do you think it's overrated or underrated in terms of, okay, so in the context, let's say you're performing for a huge crowd. This is like your concert. You're a big artist now, you've made it, you have like a stadium status kind of performance. Do you think lip syncing or having a backtrack with all your words, just your words all on there, or your lyrics, everything on there, do you think that's overrated or underrated?
So as a backtrack, I still wouldn't be singing over the lyrics. So the backtracks would be any harmonies or things other than the lyrics. There's no singing the direct parts over the direct parts. So I guess I'm saying that it's overrated, or lip syncing is overrated. We shouldn't be doing it. I got no audio.
Yeah, I think it's overrated too. We'll go with that. I think it's overrated too, because why would you want to have your lyrics on? You're the artist, you're the one who made the song in the first place. You should know it. And the people are there for you. They're definitely there for you to be saying directly to them. If they wanted to hear the song, they would have been at home.
Right.
They would have played the song and just had headphones on, so yeah, that's definitely an overrated thing. The next one is home studio setups. Do you think they're overrated or underrated, having your own home studio setup? Do you think artists should rather go into a foreign studio, recording studio, pay for the time, or do you think it's best for them to kind of have their home studio, something, a little setup here and there?
Underrated, 100% underrated. Even if you want to go to the big studio, like, you should be working that out in the little studio. You should have it perfected by the time you go to the big studio, because you've already recorded it 100 times in the home studio. I definitely, the first thing I tell my artists is get a studio, because especially as an artist, inspiration is going to hit anywhere. It's mostly going to hit when you're at home. That's the main place that you're going to catch some inspiration. So not having a source there to be able to put it down real quick is you shooting yourself in the foot. I can already tell you, because you can't get the vibe back. You can't get the home studio. Allison Drive, shout out to Blake, man. He already know, man. The Red Room. Yeah, man, I walked in that Red Room and it was a whole thing. It was an inspiration. And I went and I made the first song there. Literally, man, first time I went to the crib, I just set up real quick and just made a beat there just because it gave me a vibe, But I mean, to me, you gotta have one. It's a must. I mean, of course, big studios where you're gonna get the polishing done. But yeah, underrated.
I think it's also underrated. I think home studios are crucial in this day and age. You gotta have some sort of setup, just so that you could, like you said, you could just release your ideas and work on them in an instant. Because like you did say, ideas come at any time, at any moment. So just put them out there. One question I have is, what would you say is the minor requirements, or what do you think a person who wants to create a home studio should get just to start off with their studio journey?
Yeah. Preamp, a microphone, headphones, and you're gonna need a DAW to record into. That's it. Don't and if you are only an artist, I wouldn't really venture into getting too much more, just because unless you want to, engineer your own vocals possibly, then don't make it complicated. Keep it simple.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, that's definitely a good takeaway. That yeah, if you're an artist, and you don't want to, get in depth with the whole, production side of things, yeah, just have the minor setup of a mic, like you said, a preamp, or even a sound card, and even some monitors, just so that you could hear it here and there. But and yeah, you need a workspace, a door, so that you can definitely, get things sorted out and record on there. But other than that, you can just send it to your favorite producer, or your go-to person, just to sort it out. um the last one, let's get to the last one. And we spoke about it. So the metaverse performances, what's your take on metaverse performances?
Oh man, I would definitely say underrated. I think first mover adoption is a thing, and it's a real thing, especially in networks. So I think if you haven't at least looked into it, I think you're doing yourself a disservice, because I mean it's the same reason why I'm jumped on the opportunity with Sonar Muse. First mover adoption is you can't get that back. It's a one time opportunity. So the opportunity cost of not checking that out is great for artists right now. I know personally I haven't done much with it, just because I mean, end of the day, most of these platforms you need quite a bit, to get in and out of knowledge, to get in and out very easily. And then you're gonna need certain wallets, certain, you got to be on certain chains, certain coins and things to kind of participate. So investing wise with crypto, I just kind of try to stick to the main things, and I don't get too far into that, which is also why I said Sonar Muse was right in my lane, because it was already an ecosystem that I was very, very familiar with. So comfortability, even once you get into crypto, is still a real thing. Having projects on chains that you're comfortable with is really going to be a big deal. Well, it is a big deal for me, at least. But yeah, I've checked out a lot of projects, and if you're not doing that, then you're behind.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. It's underrated, highly underrated. It's still a new technology. There are some metaverses that you don't really need a wallet to get into, such as one that's really old, but it's still relevant and still being used, is Second Life. You could use Second Life. You could check out Spatial. Spatial is one of them. Then there's Decentraland, and there's also Decentraland. Of course, you need to use a Matic wallet, I think. Then there's all the other metaverses, but Spatial and Second Life is one that you don't really need to use a wallet. But yeah, those are good places to check out, and I think Spatial is one of those that is big, where you could customize and work around it. All you need is a computer, so you can do your thing. But yeah, that's it for the overrated, underrated.
Sure.
Really appreciate you pulling through. We're gonna get into your newest track. Before we even get into that, would you like to explain the song and what the song is about,
Yeah.
so that we could, get a gist of what KD is putting out here?
For sure. So the new track is called Team. Like I said, it's featuring my boy Jo of the NOC, my brother from another. Um, and the track is exactly what it says. It's about team. It's about teamwork. It's about, my brothers being behind me this whole time. Shout out to Blake, like I said in the track. Shout out to Tracks also in the chat. Thank y'all for pulling up. But yeah, man, they always got my back. I always got their back. And that's really what the track is about. It's about investing and just having a team of people that you're really on the same page with and that all want to see each other do better. So I'm excited to release it on Sonar Muse, of course, because the royalty sharing has begun. So with the nature of the track, I did do the maximum amount of payout for the royalties. I went with 50% because the people that invest in this, I want them to be part of that team, and I want them to be able to gain as much as I can give them from this track and investing in this track, because end of the day it's about a team effort, and like you said, you can't do it without the people that are supporting you, and those are the people that I want to have the power and control and to be also enjoying the fruits of that labor with me. So that's really the thoughts behind this. And like I said, man, I appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate y'all giving me the platform. The idea of kind of making music that does have some financial literacy dropped into it started with this track for me. This was the first track that I kind of delved into dropping some financial stuff into. The Master Investor is actually the second track that I made after I kind of got on that spark. And then I also have 2 more tracks that are already finished that are definitely XRP related and investing related. So, but this is the one that sparked it off. This is the first of 3, actually. I have this one, and then there's 2 other artists that I work with who I'll be releasing other versions of the same song where they have a verse on it as well. So this won't be the last opportunity to invest in this team concept, but it is the first one, and those will be coming sometime later down the line. So yeah, man, appreciate you letting me rock this out, man, and have it live on the show for the release.
Appreciate you once again. Do you have any last words to the community, to the Wake and Bakers before we leave? Where can we get a hold of KD of the NOC?
For sure. So last words would definitely be, KD of the NOC everywhere. That's the easy part where I'm at. Plug in KD, Google it, KD of the NOC, and I'll pop up. But last words to the community right now, man, definitely would be onboard people, man. So, Jo of the NOC, he's plugged in. I got him, I had to onboard him. I had to get him a wallet. I had to walk him through it. I put the XRP in his account for him to be able to start, working with Sonar Muse. So, at this point, I'm incentivizing by actually just doing. I don't mind using my XRP in order to get people on board. If I need to walk you through it and give you the money to start the account, I would do that, because where this thing is going is, it's just gonna be, remarkable. I already see it, and I feel like I'm in the right place at the perfect time. So, like I said, I appreciate y'all for giving me the opportunity.
Yeah. Shout out to KD. One thing I do want to say is the beauty of the platform is that if an artist isn't onboarded right now and they are credited on the song, the beauty is they'll be receiving pending micropayments within their wallet until they enable the micropayments. So the micropayments will come through once they enable it and once they onboard on the platform and have access to the platform. So that's the beauty of it. And I look forward to the Regium side of things. if you do want to invest in the song and not just only buy the song, buying the song does contribute to the Regium token percentage of it. Like he said, 50% of the sale of this song will go to the Regium shareholders. So if you're a shareholder of this token, you'll be receiving a portion of the sales as well as the streams. So this, without further ado, this is Team. Shout out to KD once again. Really appreciate you for pulling through to the Wake and Bake Vibes. We hope to see you again on the Wake and Bake Vibes soon. And it's all love, man. Let's get into the track.
We got an exclusive from my boys, my bros, my right hand and my left hand, X Lemmy and Kamikaze, coming through, dropping that heat. Let's go.
Some team, just put it on me. Watch me and my team puzzle piece this shit together. LLCs, we moving clean as Alka-Seltzer. Gotta keep that money safe, that trust the shelter. I love it when a plan comes together. Big drip, she calls it that money. I gotta get to it like a bandit, yeah. My niggas, I'm sorry. If the charge is loyalty, then damn it, I'm red-handed, yeah. We built it from the bottom 10 years and we ain't stopped. They asking when I'm dropping, nigga, check the baseline when you buy. Oh, some of my niggas had to push them keys. Now I got my niggas legit off, I'm pushing keys. Watch me and my team puzzle piece this shit together. LLCs, we moving clean as Alka-Seltzer. Gotta keep that money safe, that just a shelter. Gotta love it when a plan comes together. Watch me and my team puzzle piece this shit together. LLCs, we moving clean as Alka-Seltzer. Gotta keep that money safe, that trust the shelter. Love it when a plan comes together. Big drip, she calling that money. I got to get to it like a bandit, yeah. This season, all season, Mike Tyson, Ali in offense and defense is outstanding, yeah. Need my outstanding share the game, I understand the play. Soon as I get mine's fine, I'll be Gucci Man LaFleur on another stratosphere. Manifested can appear, that's the master plan this year. Call on me the grenadier, the track I do the damage here. Watch me and my team puzzle piece this shit together. LLCs, we moving clean as Alka-Seltzer. Gotta keep that money safe, that trust the shelter. Gotta love it when a plan comes together. Watch me and my team puzzle piece this shit together. LLCs, we moving clean as Alka-Seltzer. Gotta keep that money safe, that trust the shelter. Love it when a plan comes together.
Whoa, this is a Wake and Bake exclusive.
But there is a me. Leave a nigga open. That I hit that 3. Yeah. Why she always smiling when she see me? She just wanna hang out all night long. I just wanna rock out with my team. Wait until you see us ride.
KD is fire.
Whoa, this is a Wake and Bake exclusive.
Down. That was fire. We need to play that one again.
Shout out to my team, man.
Shout out to your team, man. Shout out to you, man. For real.
KD is fire.
Some team, just put it on me. Watch me and my team puzzle piece this shit together. LLCs, we moving clean as Alka-Seltzer. Gotta keep that money safe, that trust the shelter. I love it when a plan comes together. Big drip, she calls it that money. I gotta get to it like a bandit, yeah. My niggas, I'm sorry. If the charge is loyalty, then damn it, I'm red-handed, yeah. We built it from the bottom 10 years and we ain't stopped. They asking when I'm dropping, nigga, check the baseline when you buy. Oh, some of my niggas had to push them keys. Now I got my niggas legit off, I'm pushing keys. Watch me and my team puzzle piece this shit together. LLCs, we moving clean as Alka-Seltzer. Gotta keep that money safe, that just a shelter. Gotta love it when a plan comes together. Watch me and my team puzzle piece this shit together. LLCs, we moving clean as Alka-Seltzer. Gotta keep that money safe, that trust the shelter. Love it when a plan comes together. Big drip, she callin' that money. I drafted it to her like a bandit, yeah. This season, all season, Mike Tyson, Ali, and offense and defense is outstanding, yeah. Need my outstanding share the game, I understand it, play. Soon as I drip mine's fine, I'll be Gucci, man, LaFleur, on another stratosphere. Manifested can appear, that's the master plan this year. Call on me the grenadier, the track I do the damage here. Watch me and my team puzzle piece this shit together. LLCs, we moving clean as Alka-Seltzer.
X Lemmy and Kamikaze coming through with another XRPL Wake and Bake Vibes exclusive. You know what time it is. You know the vibes. Heard here first. Let's get it.
Gotta keep that money safe, that trust the shelter. Love it when the plan comes together. You know why you teach. Even nigga hope that I hit that 3. Yeah. Why she always smiling when she see me? She just wanna hang out all night long. I just wanna rock out with my team. Wait until you see us live. Oh. Wait until you see us live. Yeah. KD beats.
Yeah. You know the vibes. Wake and Bake Vibes. Shout out to everybody who pulled through to the Wake and Bake Vibes. A huge shout out to KD for pulling through. It was a great show. Shout out to everybody on the Instagram side. Shout out to everybody on the Twitter Space side. Shout out to everybody who pulled through on the YouTube side. We'll see you next week for another weekly dosage of the Wake and Bake Vibes. I'm your host, Killer Strider, aka Kamikaze Monster. And I'll see you again next week. Let's get into some tunes before we end the show. Music from the Sonar Muse platform. And you know the vibes. All the artists are getting paid in real time. So let's get back into that playlist. Next week's episode is going to be an interesting one. I think we're going to be speaking on AI. We have a guest where we'll be speaking about AI in the music industry and about how, that may be a new way for, artists to get into the industry. Do you think it's going to ruin the industry? Is it going to make the industry a better place? Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, once again, see you on the flip side. I'm your host, Killer Strider, on Awake and Bake Vibes, Twitter Space, YouTube, Instagram, Sonar Muse on the back end. We're live,
We getting it in at the XRPL Wake and Bake Vibes with 2 Code, X Lemmy, and Kamikaze. You know the vibes.
Some people say I'm a superhero. Well, I'm just some man in town. My power ranges from 100 to 0. When I'm all down and out. Some people look and they shout, what's this guy all about? Strange as you go, no kind of pain, bring no shame like fire. In the woods, people look and they shout, what's this guy all about?
And I looked in the mirror, I see what they talk about. Charisma built on this pillow. I'm thankful for all in all. Bad decisions as well. Always rebel.
You heard it here first on Wake and Bake Vibes. Twitter space, we live.
Ain't bring no shame like fire. Look and they shout. What's this guy all about?
This is the Wake and Bake Vibes with Too Cold, X Lemmy, and Killer Strider. Hey, what's going on? This your boy Killer Strider, aka Kamikaze Monster, and you're now listening to the Wake and Bake Vibes with my boy X Lemmy and my girl Too Cold. Let's get it.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Slimmy. And you heard it here first on Wake and Bake Vibes. Twitter space, we live.
We getting it in at the XRPL Wake and Bake Vibes with 2 Code, X Lemmy, and Kamikaze. You know the vibes.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Slimmy. And you're listening to the Wake and Bake Vibes with Kamikaze and 2 Code. Whoa, whoa.